There's a website out there called White People Problems. Might be called First World Problems. And I just think it's funny as hell. And so my first world problem this morning is that I can't get the dang pump to turn off so that you can hear the hot tub curmudgeon better. My daughter just sent me a perfect illustration of a white people problem. She reports that she's sitting in the bathtub trying to mind her own business in the bathtub when her cat comes in and wants to sit up on the edge of the tub and just sit and stare at her and fart until she can't stand it anymore. In my opinion, animals farting in the house sets civilization back 10,000 years. Okay, well, let's get serious. I think I know something that I'll bet one person in 100 Americans does not know. I'm gonna guess maybe one person in 1,000 Americans maybe knows this. And that is this. The Constitutional Convention was held in secret. Those men were not sent to Philadelphia to write a constitution. They were sent to improve the Articles of Confederation. Now the difference is that the Confederation was to be a union, a loose union of nations, 13 nations. And instead, those men said, you know, that didn't work during the revolution, it ain't working now, and so let's create instead one federated nation, one nation. So, you know, we call it the United States, states meaning United Countries of America. Well, they made one country out of 13 countries. And they did not have permission to do that. They knew they didn't have permission to do that. And so before they even started, they all swore an oath that they would keep it secret. They didn't want anybody to know the hanky-panky they were up to in Philadelphia. So then when it was all done and they had it and then they took it out to the states, there were states like New York that said, hell no. So there was a little bit of difficulty getting it ratified because that is not what those guys had permission to go to Philadelphia and do. Now here's the important takeaway from that information. We don't do business like that anymore. We used to do business like that as recently as, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago. But then we began to pass what are called sunshine laws, where everything that any sort of legislative or deliberative body does has to be out in the sunshine. We have to see what everybody involved said, who they talked to, etc. Now, the problem with that is then when you introduce single issue voters, the whole system has indeed broken down. Because I'm from Montana and all my voters care about is no gun control. I'm from Florida and all my voters care about is we need subsidies on sugar. We got to take care of the sugar industry. I'm from Oklahoma and all my voters care about is abortion. Can't have abortion. And we got to have prayer in school. And we can't have jackasses kneeling during the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem. Okay, so then you get these guys all together in a room, women too, in a room, to talk about legislation, and they can't, because everybody's pulling a completely separate direction to satisfy their single issue voters. So the benefit would be in getting rid of the sunshine laws that, okay, look, what you've got now is we're moving toward pure democracy. Those guys who wrote the Constitution, they had seen democracy in action. They didn't like it. Democracy is not a good thing. They wanted a representative democracy. Now, the difference of a representative democracy is that we vote for Cantrell, what's her name, and Patty Murray, and in a representative democracy, we pat them on the butt and we send them off to Washington, D.C., and then we have no idea what they're doing, what they're promising, compromises that they're making, no idea until out of the door comes a finished product that the guy from Oklahoma and Florida and Montana and that they all said, all right, yeah, you know, you give me a little of this, I'll give you a little of that, and then there it is. It's an ugly compromise, but it's something that everybody could agree to. Now anymore, we can't agree to anything. We have to elect all Republicans or all Democrats to get anything done. Plus, you got to elect the president of that party. Or he'll just veto it, or anything that he wants to do, they'll veto. Okay, so that's the nature of a representative democracy. You vote them in, they go to Washington, D.C., you have no idea what they're doing until they hand out the door the finished product. Now, there's a saying that there's two things you do not want to see being made. Sausages. Can you imagine? Eyeballs and noses and glands going into sausages. You don't want to see that being made, but you don't want to see legislation being made, because it's full of ugly compromises. And we don't like that. We don't like, we don't want to compromise. We, stand firm on abortion, stand firm on gun control, stand firm on the sugar lobby. Well, the consequence is you can either go with pure democracy like we're getting and get nothing done, or we're going to have to change to representative democracy, where Washington, D.C. becomes a black box, becomes a sausage factory, and we don't get to see how the sausage is made. It's just when it comes out, we hold a 4th of July barbecue and we all enjoy the sausages.